After hours copy center. No originals kept. I run the graveyard shift at a 24-hour copy center, wedged between a nail salon that sleeps and a bar that doesn't. After midnight, it's a polite factory. People arrive with emergencies disguised as PDFs. Behind my counter, a sign says no originals kept. Corporate meant confidentiality. I read it as advice. People talk differently at this hour. They lower their voice like the toner might eavesdrop. Suits loosen. Sneakers squeak a little louder. I keep a bowl of paper clips by the register because fiddling helps people say the true version first. I'm married. Ava opens a coffee shop at 6. I close this place at 2, and lately we mistake efficiency for love. At 12:41 a.m., the bell dinged, and a woman stepped in with a cardboard tube and a flash drive labeled R. Morrow, EVENTS. A ring flashed and hid, undecided. "Can you print a poster size in 10 minutes?" she asked. "And be a wizard." "I'm Leo," I said. "Wizarding depends on the file." Folders opened. SCHEDULES, SPONSORS, FLOORPLAN. I found the poster and fixed a stray letter in a keynote's name. The printer warmed, a giant sheet yawned out, and Crisis downgraded. She exhaled like a person putting a stone down. "Riley," she said, "you just saved a basic unit of respect." "Lamination?" I asked. "Yes, I don't trust hotel easels." While the laminator purred, my phone buzzed. "Ava, leftovers in the fridge, be safe." "Want me to wait up?" I texted back. "Eat without me. Don't wait." I almost added something softer and didn't. No originals kept, apparently. Riley watched the machines. "There's something about sharp edges and clear instructions," she said. "Paper cooperates," I said. She hesitated. "One more thing, not a poster, a personal print job. I could do self-serve, but I'd rather not be alone with it." "You don't have to explain," I said, already opening the drive. "His name is Mark. He runs AV for the venues we book. My husband, Jonah, thinks I'm brilliant. Mark makes me feel legible. I keep writing drafts I won't send, like the printer is part of the ethics." A folder called DRAFTS. File names like letgo and WHYEHISES wrong. I printed 2 copies without reading, except the first line leaked. "You are not my alibi, you are my almost." She fed both pages to the shredder. Confetti fell. She wiped her face with the heel of her hand. She watched the strip spool down in pale ribbons. "He says things like, 'We're not hurting anyone by being honest,'" she said, voice careful, like she was carrying a cup too full. "As if telling the truth to the wrong person graduates you from lying." I kept thinking, if I can write him out of my system, I can walk past him at sound check and feel like a colleague again. "Does Jonah know about Mark?" I asked. "He knows about long nights and my calendar and how I stop making sense when I'm tired," she said. "He knows my good moods and that I become a joke I don't like when a microphone doesn't work. He doesn't know that the person who fixes it makes eye contact like a dare." She shook her head. "It's not even the person. It's the dare." "The machine makes all of us brave," I said, nodding at the shredder. "It has an appetite. We feed it drafts and call that virtue." "What do you feed it?" she asked. "Mostly signs that remind me to be the kind of man I think I already am," I said. "And once a receipt I had invented a story around." She cocked her head. "How'd that end?" "With me apologizing to a woman who makes better coffee than I deserve," I said. "And with me learning the difference between suspicion and plot." "Stupid," she said, "but screens make everything a rehearsal." "You did a thing in the tense called doing," I said. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A text from M. Rooftop still open. 1:15, no pressure. She stared at it, then handed me the phone like it was evidence. You can print the part where you say no, I said. We can laminate it. She smiled despite herself and typed, not tonight, not any night. I want sentences I can say at breakfast. She didn't hit send. The bell dinged. A man in a wrinkled suit stood there with an AV lanyard and a thumb drive raised like an offering. He saw Riley and stopped. Seating chart, he told me then to her, are we? We are not, Riley said. Make your copies, then leave. He blinked, printed, paid, and went out with a smaller face. The bell's cheerful lie called it day. For a moment after he left, the door's chime kept vibrating like a tuning fork. Riley stared at the space he'd occupied and then at me, as if checking whether reality had signed for the package. Riley breathed. Thanks, she said, for colluding with my better self. She lifted the laminated poster, slid it into the tube, and paid. Could you drop this at the hotel desk on your way off? I live the other direction, and I want to go home without stopping where temptation keeps a tab. Rectangles are my specialty, I said. She wrote her number on the receipt. Text me when it's delivered. When the shop cleared, I closed out the register, cleaned the cutter, swept confetti. The night outside had turned from black to that pre-dawn blue that makes cities look like honest drawings. I parked in 30-minute loading and didn't bother with the hazard lights. I've learned no one-tickets people carrying rectangles with purpose. At 1:57 a.m., I handed the tube to a front desk woman who looked like she'd carried 1,000 small nights. In the lobby, I saw Mark by the elevators, asking his phone to justify him. I kept walking. In the car, I texted Riley, delivered. The dots came and went then, thank you, going home to laminate a kitchen conversation. I called Ave. Almost done, she asked, sleep smiling. Done, I said. Do we still have enchiladas? Half, she said, and a corner of the blanket and a question. Ask now, I said. Do you miss me? Not the schedule, me. Yes, I said, in ways that aren't urgent. The words sounded better out loud than in drafts. Good, she said. Come home, we can try being less excellent. Back at the shop, I typed a sign for myself. Say it before it becomes a draft, and taped it behind the counter. Then I locked up and drove through a city that pretends to sleep. Ava met me in a sweater too big for apologies. The kitchen smelled like cumin. We split the last enchilada and laughed about nothing until the kind of tired you want arrived. We stood in the doorway an extra second the way we do when we are trying to pick the right person to be. I want to say something without a spreadsheet, I told her, stealing Riley's phrasing because good tools should travel. I've been polite instead of present. Ava leaned on the counter, the good mugs lined up like volunteers. I've been productive instead of kind, she said. We're very impressive, Leo. Let be worse, I said. Like slightly worse, enough to be here. She laughed, then covered her face because laughing at 2 in the morning always feels like you're breaking a rule no one wrote. Deal. After sleep, we can fail at excellence and succeed at touch. We took turns telling the truth in 3 sentences, a game we used to play and forgot. Mine. I delete soft messages because I'm afraid of being the only one who needs them. I am not bored, I am guarded. I want you to reach for me first and still be thrilled when you don't. Hers. I hoard competence because it keeps me from asking. I am not fine, I'm scheduled. I want to be held like a fact, not a plan. I told her about a night that needed a witness. She told me about a customer who paid for coffee with a jar of quarters like it was still 1997. We put our phones face down. When we went to bed, I held her hand. Out front, the trucks started their polite thunder. In a ballroom down the street, a corrected name waited under fluorescent patience. Somewhere in that hotel, a man learned patience doesn't love him back. Somewhere else, a woman said something at a kitchen table and meant it in the tense called doing. No originals kept, the sign says, but the right ones we decided you take home.